Season 1 of The Night Agent introduces FBI agent Peter Sutherland. During a bombing of the DC Metro, Peter heroically saves countless civilians on board, though fails to apprehend the suspect. 1 year later, Peter has been reassigned by White House Chief of Staff Diane Farr to the mysterious Night Action Agency. Farr has been Peter's only support in his career, as his family name is tainted by his late father, who was also an FBI agent but labeled a traitor before his untimely death. Peter's new position in the Night Action Agency sees him monitoring a phone in the basement of the White House every night that only rings if another night agent is in trouble. Rose Larkin is a recently bankrupt former cybersecurity CEO living with her aunt and uncle, Emma and Henry Campbell. When the assassin couple Dale and Ellen enter their home, the Campbells give Rose a phone number and a code word to call for help, before tragically being killed by the assassins. That call connects Rose with Peter Sutherland, who is instructed by Farr to protect Rose from the assassins and deliver her to a safe house. As Peter acts as Rose's sworn protector, the two bond and earn each other's trust. They learn that Rose's aunt and uncle were both former night agents, and that before her death, Rose's aunt had revealed that there was a mole within the White House that could not be trusted. Peter agrees to keep this revelation to himself until he can determine the identity of the traitor. Despite this agreement, Peter turns to his mentor Farr for help, as she is the only person in the White House that he fully trusts. Farr reveals that President Michelle Travers had assigned the Campbells to uncover the White House mole and expose their connection to the DC Metro bombing. Unfortunately, Peter then realizes that Farr has betrayed him and is forced to flee. Farr publicly brands Peter a traitor and orders the assassins to kill Rose. While evading their pursuers, Peter and Rose manage to kill the assassin Dale. Elsewhere, Vice President Redfield's daughter Maddie is a college student protected by Secret Service agent Chelsea Arrington. Chelsea is assigned a new partner to protect Maddie, Agent Erik Monks, who is struggling with the trauma of previously being shot while protecting the president. Unbeknownst to the two agents, Vice President Redfield himself is working with the assassins who killed the Campbells. When Maddie is kidnapped by Colin, the man responsible for planting the DC Metro bomb, Chelsea and Monks race to save her. Colin then blackmails Redfield to publicly reveal his own involvement in the Metro bombing, or else Maddie will be killed. Redfield seeks assistance from his corrupt allies Diane Farr and the powerful CEO Gordon Wick. Farr and Wick lament the precariousness of Redfield's situation, as Maddie has been abused by her father and she had planned to publicly release nanny cam footage of his past actions against her. Meanwhile, Colin is a former employee of Wick's company Turnlake, whose innocent brother Mateo was killed in an attempt to cover up Turnlake's involvement in the bombing. To resolve their problems, Wick orders Ellen to save Maddie and kill Colin, in exchange for helping the assassin find Peter to avenge the death of her partner Dale. Elsewhere, Peter and Rose team up with Secret Service agents Chelsea and Monks to save Maddie and stop a potential second bomb threat. After finding Maddie and Colin, the group are intercepted by Ellen, who kills both Colin and Monks before Rose intervenes and kills the assassin, fully avenging her aunt and uncle. Chelsea then reveals to Peter and Rose that on the day of the first bombing, she was assigned to protect foreign political leader Omar Zadar, the bomb's true target who was inadvertently saved due to Peter's heroism. Zadar is a corrupt political leader with ties to terrorists, though President Travers believed that his popularity with the people of the Balkans made an alliance with him worth it in order to bring peace to the area. Redfield strongly opposed this alliance and teamed up with Turnlake CEO Gordon Wick, who received billions of dollars in funding from Zadar's political rivals, to plot Zadar's demise. And so Redfield and Wick worked together to stage the Metro bombing in an attempt to kill Zadar, but failed due to Peter's intervention. When Farr discovered this treacherous plot, she agreed to take part in the cover-up to shield the public from learning of their government's corruption. Now, as Zadar travels to Camp David to meet with President Travers, Redfield and Wick plot a new assassination scheme, this time with the intent of killing both Zadar and Travers, elevating Redfield to President of the United States. Not willing to take part in assassinating the president, Farr teams up with Peter, Rose, Chelsea, and Maddie to thwart the new attack. As the season comes to a close, everyone arrives at Camp David. Farr warns Secret Service Director Almora of the threat on President Travers' life, but Almora is then killed by a rogue agent working for Wick. As Peter and his allies infiltrate Camp David, they learn that 2 bombs have been planted in the area. As the first bomb detonates, Chelsea saves Maddie from the explosion. As the attack causes Travers to be evacuated via the Marine One helicopter, Peter realizes that is exactly where the second bomb has been planted. Peter races from pursuing Marines and Secret Service agents to stop Travers from boarding the helicopter, moments before it explodes. In the end, Farr and Redfield are both arrested, with Maddie agreeing to testify against her evil father. Chelsea is promoted to the lead of President Travers' Secret Service detail, and Rose affirms her romantic feelings for Peter and dreams of returning to her tech industry career. As reward for his heroic actions, President Travers reveals classified information to Peter about his late father, confirming that Peter Sutherland Sr. was in fact a traitor, but was assassinated after feeling guilty over his actions and attempting to atone for his sins. Peter is then promoted to being an official night agent, pulling him out of the White House basement and sending him out into the field. Sure, if there's some fictional threat to national security, you should call a night agent, but if you want to actually protect your personal and private information online, you're gonna need Aura. I mean, just look at this redacted report showing what information data brokers could be collecting from you. I'm talking your name, age, address, even the private information of your family, neighbors, and associates, all being sold by data brokers to potential scammers, spammers, and stalkers. This is super scary stuff, and now that my wife and I have just had our first child, I want to be as proactive as possible at keeping my family's online data secure. And that's where today's sponsor Aura comes in. Basically, if you've ever received a spam call or email, it's because a data broker has collected and sold your data. They can do this without your consent and profit billions of dollars selling personal and private information to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. While they're legally required to remove your data if asked, they can make this process difficult, confusing, and exhausting. But Aura takes care of the entire process for you, not only ensuring your data is removed from these sites, but stays gone for good. Maybe you're already using some other digital security service or VPN, but without Aura, that's like locking the front door but leaving the back door unlocked. With just one app, Aura offers alerts if your personal information is found on the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking, 24/7 identity theft monitoring, US-based around-the-clock support, plus a VPN, password manager, antivirus, and more. Plus, if anything ever does go wrong, Aura offers $5 million in identity theft insurance, and they've got US-based fraud experts available 24/7. So try Aura for free for 14 days at aura.com/recapandchill. In those 2 weeks, Aura will get to work scrubbing your personal information off of these data broker sites. I'm not leaving myself vulnerable, and you shouldn't either. So thanks to Aura for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the recap. In season 2, Peter Sutherland has spent 10 months on the job as an official night agent. While working alongside his new partner Alice, Peter works a mission in Bangkok to track down CIA traitor Warren Stalker. Unfortunately, Peter and Alice are led into a trap, resulting in Alice being killed, Peter being forced into hiding, and Warren's top secret intel falling into enemy hands. Meanwhile, Rose Larkin is trying to piece her life back together, though still struggling with the trauma of all that she has gone through. Rose now works for a tech company known as Adverse, which collects personal data to better serve targeted ads to consumers. Rose has edited the code of Adverse, allowing her to create an all-seeing eye of every security camera around the world. After receiving a mysterious phone call alerting her that Peter has gone missing, she uses her spyware to track him down. The pair's reunion is awkward, as Peter hasn't contacted Rose in months while away in the field. Despite this, Rose offers her assistance in using Adverse to track down Warren. The traitor confesses to selling a top-secret file known as Project Foxglove, but before he can divulge any more information, he is shot dead by an unseen sniper. Unbeknownst to Peter and Rose, the buyer of Foxglove is an information broker named Jacob Monroe. Knowing that Peter can identify him from Bangkok, Monroe tasks his enforcer Solomon to use any means necessary to kill the night agent. And it was Monroe who called Rose to inform her of Peter being missing, knowing she would lead the villains straight to their target. As Solomon's team hunts Peter and Rose, he also helps Monroe sell the Foxglove files to Marcus Dargan. Marcus is the nephew of Victor Bala, a dictator now serving a prison sentence in The Hague for extensive war crimes. Victor's son Tomas wants to blackmail the the United Nations to help free his father, but Victor and Marcus have plotted a much deadlier revenge mission. Meanwhile, Peter seeks the aid of his handler Catherine Weaver. Catherine is skeptical of Peter's abilities as an agent, as her agent partner Noah was killed in the field years prior due to Peter Sutherland Sr.'s traitorous ways. As Catherine begins her own investigation into Foxglove, she learns that the CIA and US military had been working on countermeasures to potential chemical warfare, but to do so successfully, they first needed to develop these deadly chemical weapons themselves. Unfortunately, Marcus and Tomas are now in possession of everything they need to engineer these bioweapons for use against the United States. Elsewhere, Noor Taheri is the aide to an Iranian ambassador named Basso, who makes a deal with the CIA to relay confidential information on her government in exchange for asylum in America for her and her family. As Noor develops feelings for Basso's head of security, Javad, she also witnesses her boss receiving a briefcase from none other than Solomon. Peter meets with Noor as her new handler and tasks her with helping to retrieve whatever documents are inside the briefcase. Noor insists that her brother receive asylum in America, as he's about to be conscripted into the Iranian military, where he will likely die in battle. After a successful mission to retrieve photos of the documents, Peter and Rose celebrate their victory with a kiss, though Noor refuses to hand over the photos until her family is safely extracted from Iran. Peter and Catherine want to blackmail Noor for the photos, but Rose insists that they help her. And so, night agent Sami Saidi is sent to extract Noor's brother Farhad and mother Azita from Iran. Unfortunately, as the trio flee, Farhad realizes that he doesn't want to leave his life behind and pulls a gun on Sami. Reflexively, Sami shoots Farhad dead and flees with the grieving Azita. Upon hearing this news, Peter lies to Noor, telling her the extraction was a total success. After Noor hands over the documents, Peter and Catherine are shocked to discover that Abbas's briefcase seemingly did not contain anything to do with Foxglove, but instead a list of Iranian dissidents, which they theorize may be targets for the bioweapon attack. While tracing the documents to their originator, Peter and Catherine eventually find and apprehend Solomon. Javad realizes that there is a rat working with Abbas and attempts to uncover their identity. When Abbas informs Noor of her brother's death, she becomes distraught and distrustful of Peter, Rose, and Catherine's motivations. Javad then apprehends Noor and lies about having also apprehended her mother as a threat to gain her help. A fearful Noor tells Javad everything that she has done to aid the night agents and offers to lure Peter into a trap. Rose pays a visit to one of her old professors, Dr. Cole, to learn more about the compounds of the Foxglove bioweapons. Unfortunately, Marcus and Tomas then arrive, kidnapping Cole and Rose and forcing them to create KX, a deadly poison with no known antidote. Rose appeals to Tomas's better nature and convinces him to help stop the planned bioweapon attack. But when Marcus discovers this, he uses the first batch of KX on his cousin, proving its lethal effectiveness. With time running out to save Rose and thwart Marcus's chemical warfare attack, Peter frees Solomon and takes him to Monroe. Monroe agrees to give up the location of Marcus's lab in exchange for Peter stealing a file from the Secretary General at the UN. Peter goes to Noor for assistance and sincerely apologizes for lying about her brother. Noor accepts this apology, gives Peter keycard access to the UN, and warns him that Javad is after him. Peter and Noor successfully evade Javad and steal the file from the UN. After delivering this file to Monroe, the broker explains it contains proof that the Secretary General covered up the CIA giving Victor Bala KX years prior, which the dictator then used to kill his own dissenters. Before upholding his end of the deal and revealing the location of Marcus's lab, Monroe demands that Peter officially join his villainous operation. Peter reluctantly agrees before racing off to defeat Marcus. In the climactic showdown, Catherine kills Solomon while Peter rescues Rose and Professor Cole. Though unfortunately, Marcus and his men have already left the lab and begun planting KX inside the UN headquarters. Catherine calls in backup to thwart the UN attack, but Marcus manages to flee with his last remaining canister of KX. As he holds the late Tomas's girlfriend Sloane hostage, Peter manages to kill the terrorist, while Rose uses the knowledge imparted on her by Professor Cole to successfully contain the KX detonation. As the season comes to a close, Noor gains the help of Abbas, who bought the dissident list to help protect his own daughter, a known opponent of the current Iranian regime. Abbas uses footage of Javad flirting with Noor to accuse him of treason, in turn saving Noor from Javad's further threat. Noor and her mother are then granted permanent an asylum in America, though they still grieve the loss of Farhad. Peter and Rose realize it is too dangerous for them to pursue a relationship, and so they part ways for good, with Rose returning to a normal life and Peter turning himself in for aiding Monroe. Monroe uses the Secretary General's incriminating documents to help his ally Governor Hagen get elected President of the United States, who will in turn act as Monroe's political puppet. In the end, Catherine absolves Peter of his actions and wipes his slate clean, having grown to fully trust him. And so she tasks Peter to act as a double agent within Monroe's organization to help thwart whatever nefarious plans the villain has in store. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and why not check out this recommended video while you're at it.